r/Reddit. People who had COVID-19 or know someone who did. How bad was it? I'm currently recovering. I'm a 30-year-old male with no health issues, so maybe that's the reason, but for me, it was like a mild cold. Felt crummy from Tuesday night to Thursday. Started feeling better Friday. Now I just have a bit of a cough and weird headaches. The testing process was a pain though. First one was inconclusive, so I had to get a doctor's note and go get another test. Be careful. That was me at the start of my symptoms, before it came back and knocked me on my ass completely for 2 months. The stories of the early false recovery are real, so take it super easy and don't overexert yourself for a week. My friend was tested positive. He is quarantined at home with a little fever, muscle pain and a light cough. He is getting better every day it seems. I hope he continues to recover. Friend of mine, 23, had it and passed it to his roommate, also 23, and said roommate ended up dying from it. This thing isn't a joke. No matter what age you aren't invincible. Please be considerate to others. I wish the selfish motherfuckers who aren't taking this virus seriously would read this thread in the hopes they'd change their mindset. Reading this thread is really heartbreaking and scary, and makes me worry for my family. My mom works at a hospital and it worries me a lot. I'm sorry for your loss. Much love. Stay strong. My uncle died from it. He died at his house while in self-quarantine. Didn't know he died until after he didn't call or answer his phone after 2 days. Sorry for your loss. That award is not nice. 30-year-old friend had it. He was so sick that his roommates were almost afraid to check on him in his room because they thought they'd find him dead. Getting out of bed to go to the bathroom took all of his strength. He's fine now, but it took a few weeks for his lungs to feel even remotely normal. My mother-in-law had something like this in January, before it was a thing, but we swear she had it. She would call us for help, and me or my wife would go over, we live 5 minutes away, and help her get something. She said she was out of breath walking to her bathroom, and then out of breath walking back after using it. It was wild. We all want to get antibody tests as soon as they are available. I'm 32 and it was the sickest I have ever been. 2 weeks of fever over 101, bad cough that lasted almost a month, shortness of breath where if I walked more than a few steps I would end up doubled over gasping for air. It was pretty bad, but at least I'm all better now. All the edits, damn that blew up in the few hours I was asleep. Thank you to everyone for everything. My general condition before this was good. No underlying conditions. I was in really good shape. In the gym mostly every day. Yeah, it really sucked. I was never really in fear though, because I caught it early enough that it wasn't really hyped that much. I think it was March 3rd that I went to the hospital. I work as an Uber driver on the weekends, so I'm guessing that's how I caught it. I was on an inhaler for a while afterwards. I tried working out about 3 weeks after I initially got sick. That was a joke. I literally ended up on my back wheezing and hacking 2 minutes into the workout. I'm pretty much fully recovered now. The only effects I'm still feeling are just from taking so much time off from working out. I think that's the gist of most of the questions. If you have a burning one that I didn't answer, I'm sorry. Feel free to ask me again. One more super important edit. Everything I have seen and read about this is that it affects everyone differently. Please don't read what I didn't think that it's great advice or anything like that. I would hate for someone to get worse because they listen to my dumbass on Reddit. Please listen to your doctors. My mom had COVID. Started as a fever then quickly worsened. Within days she was in the hospital on oxygen. Seriously thought she was going to die. My dad has COVID. He has 0 symptoms and probably had it 4 days before the results. My dad is diabetic with kidney failure and multiple other health issues. Why my mother, who's mostly healthy, reacted so badly compared to my dad is uttering bewildering. My trainer at the gym had it. She is an ordinarily healthy woman in her 40s and very fit. She had high fever. It was hard to breathe, exhaustion and brutal muscle aches. She found it hard to walk across her bedroom. She lost her sense of smell also. Suspected neurological symptoms too, memory problems and trouble finding words. 3 weeks after her quarantine ended, she still feels like sh*t. She is out of breath very easily. I saw her loading groceries into her car, and it was hard for her. She is still having memory problems. She recovered at home, no hospital. My friend is in Italy. He got it and was sick/bedridden for a week, while his girlfriend had just some aches. Both his parents, his grandparents and his uncle died, all within a week. Edit. To lessen the horror, I will add that his aunt had it too, but recovered. Sorry, it's a rough one for a Monday. My girlfriend and I both had it. We live in Brooklyn, and I am, well, used to, a guest room in the lower level of my apartment. Very lovely couple from the UK, came to stay in early March, just as things were getting pretty wild. The last morning of their stay, he woke up with a fever and cough. 24 hours later, I was clearly sick, coughing, flu, shortness of breath, fever of 101. It was really bad that night, and then the symptoms kinda chilled out, but persisted with the cough, mild fever and general aches for about another 2 weeks. 72 hours after initial symptoms I tested positive. Girlfriend was sick in a totally different way. She had weird headaches for nearly 2 weeks straight, but almost nothing else other than mild cough. Weirdest part was that both of us almost completely lost sense of smell plus taste. I ate half a raw onion to confirm it. Was as tangy as an apple. Taste/smell only fully returned after about 6 weeks. Thankful that it wasn't worse. The raw onion part gives me a clear idea of just how bad the loss of taste was. Yikes. My roommate got sick about 6 weeks ago. It wasn't until a couple weeks ago that he got his sense of smell back. He was barely able to get out of bed for weeks and would have terrible coughing fits. By the way, I should mention that he's 22 and a college athlete. He was probably in about as good of shape as a person can be in before he got sick. My girlfriend got sick too. It wasn't quite as bad for her, but one day her fever registered at 104, and I was freaking out. My aunt, 46, caught it at the meat plant she works at, and passed it to my uncle, 74, who unfortunately passed away from it. She recovered. My coworker and her husband had it. She was very sick, but ultimately recovered and was fine. Her husband was hospitalized for a week with pneumonia. Luckily he also recovered. Their 2 kids were asymptomatic. I'm an ICU travel nurse in Philly, so granted I have a different perspective. The ICU I'm in currently has not had a single COVID patient survive past ICU admission. Once they get intubated it's all over. The patient I had last week had worn a BiPAP mask on maximum settings for 3 days straight before finally getting intubated and just recently dying. Before getting intubated, he was breathing with a rate in the 50s. Try breathing 50 times a minute and see how quickly you get tired, refusing to let me take the mask off to wet his mouth, unable to speak or get out of bed. It's horrible. It's even worse knowing that family can't be there with them at the end and we ourselves are supposed to limit time in their rooms because there is such limited PPE and we have to decrease our risk of exposure as much as possible. That doesn't stop us from being with them though. Everyone please stay home and protect yourself, and thanks for watching.